Welcome to Talking Giants player profiles and projections. Today we have the X-Man, the other X-Man, Xavier McKinney, 6 foot, 201 pounds, 22 years old, second rounder out of Alabama. You guys know the story. Broke his foot in 2020 training camp, missed 10 games on the IR. He was the reason Logan Ryan was signed, by the way. We thought he was going to be play corner. You know, mine and your debate was like, does he play outside maybe, or does he just stay in the nickel? Because like we have the big needed outside. Nope, they were going to play his ass as safety. And then he got an extension. Justin, it's a theme for many New York Giants defenders. He's another versatile player, and they may play him free, at free safety, at strong safety, and I think honestly, a lot of his value this year with Logan Ryan and Jabril Peppers could be taking cornerback reps.
Whoa. Throw that on me right now? That's bizarre. The exciting thing about Xavier McKinney, Bobby Skinner, is that he's basically working as a free agent / draft acquisition. He found a way to sneak in 20% of the defensive reps, by the way, last year, which if you were to quiz, I think every Giants fan, they would say there's no way. Yeah, I guess he found a way. 20% of the defensive reps he got last year. But still, I didn't feel like his impact was on the field as much as we want it to be last year. And that's not a bad thing. Dude had a foot injury, probably wasn't conditioning all that much throughout the whole season, and then he kind of comes back and he's thrown into the fire towards the latter part of the year where we're facing Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, who have a decent offensive system. That's maybe debatable. But Baltimore Ravens definitely have a very good offensive system, and I think he struggled a little bit in that game. But then Dallas, he had some really good moments too, which was a really good way to end the season with that game-saving, game-winning interception that he had from a Leonard Williams QB hit. So it's exciting that McKinney is working as like this acquisition that now we are adding to this defense that we can have for the entire year, hopefully, and he can be this another chess piece that Patrick Graham has. He's went through the camp process. He's went through these practices. He played a little bit of preseason. So let's rock and roll, Xavier McKinney. What do you got on him, Bobby?
Well, I want to ask you, box, deep, and cornerback, what percentage did he have the highest percentage snaps at?
I'm willing to bet, corner, you throw that at me again. I'm going to go free / corner, then everything, then box that follows.
Cornerback, he played 40% of the snaps. Mm-hmm. Deep, he played 38%, and then box 22%. I mean, he was filling in for Darnay Holmes. That's how he really started getting his first reps, was filling in for a Darnay Holmes injury, playing nickel corner. And honestly, that's what I think makes him the most valuable for the season, because you do have Jabril Peppers, and it's like, okay, could you put him at that box? Yeah. Now, I think he's going to play like a combination of deep, but the thing that like Xavier McKinney gets a lot of comparisons to Jabril Peppers and the way he plays, and that's 100% fair. But here's where Xavier can be like a better than Jabril. It's in man coverage. You put him in man coverage versus slot wide receivers and tight ends, I think maybe not right away, but he can be a better option than Jabril Peppers in that role. And they keep Jabril Peppers away from that role as much as possible. Even go back to college. Like, look at him versus Justin Jefferson at LSU. Like, he did well in that role. And again, they played him at nickel corner. And you know why? It's like, oh yeah, did he play 40% at corner? You want to know why? Because he did it well. Like, he played that position well. I get it was a ton of zone stuff, but he did play that position well. So I think he is very much I don't think he's going to get very many box reps at all. Like, he got 22%. I really think it's him and Julian Love are going to be used so differently to be like, all right, now you're a 2 high safety, maybe sometimes single high, but I'm going to have you down here, not at the box, but at the line of scrimmage, playing man on split out tight ends, on slot receivers. And just like the toys, like we could just talk about the defense as a whole. It's like we have so many different players who can do so many different things that it's like, I don't know what Xavier McKinney's role is going to be. Like, these player profiles and projections, it's like, okay, we spend so much time on these guys, and like, they're going to do this. This is how they'll be used. This is what they're good at. This is what they're weak at. Xavier McKinney might be my biggest unknown going into the year. It's like, what is, not even like how good is he going to be? It's just like, what is he going to do? Like, I don't know what Xavier McKinney's going to do this year.
I agree with you in how the Giants are going to use him, but I'm still going to plant my foot in the ground and say that based off of McKinney's college film, and I did a film breakdown with Anthony Tomato on this, and we broke him down after he was drafted, and based off of his college tape, I think McKinney is just much better when he is moving forward in terms of attacking whatever is in front of him, particularly in the run game, when he is moving forward and laterally versus backwards. Now, he can do that in man coverage, where he's covering, where he's working in man coverage and he's covering tight ends and stuff like that. But that is an area where we wanted McKinney to improve heading from Alabama, was kind of like playing in zone or, moving backwards laterally kind of in coverage. And I thought that his strengths was primarily kind of like in the run game, moving up, moving forward, being aggressive in that regard. So it's almost like, I don't want to say the total opposite of my evaluation of how the Giants are using him, but it's also the fact that you have Peppers there who who would I rather have in the box and who would I rather playing their role? Xavier McKinney, Jabril Peppers. I would much rather have Jabril Peppers for 2020.
Well, and that's what has a lot to do with the unknown and him playing, some more of those cornerback reps, is because Jabril Peppers is that player. Like, that's like, you're not going to take away those reps to give them to Xavier McKinney. That's flat out. And like, if there's one thing we do know, is that will not happen. He'll get some box reps, but they're not going to be taking away like Pepper. Now Peppers, I guess they will.
Role.
There will be some reps where it's like, all right, we're putting Peppers too high, and McKinney's going to play down low. Like, let's throw something different at him.
But here's where it makes sense for McKinney playing kind of like that pseudo slot corner, or even just lining up at corner for cornerback reps. He did that at Alabama, kinda. Whenever there would be a wide receiver, running back, somebody from the backfield basically going in motion, or sometimes even just the slot wide receiver in general, he would play off ball. He wouldn't play in press, but he would be lined up as a safety, but lined up over that slot wide receiver, and he would be responsible for wherever they kind of went. So I sometimes Alabama sometimes knows what plays are coming before everybody else in the stadium does. But whenever there would be a swing screen or a slot wide receiver, they would run like a little bubble screen or something like that. McKinney would be the guy to boom, jump on it, come up, run up and make a play. And you actually saw that against Arizona. There was a bubble screen that they ran, and McKinney comes up, makes a nice play, makes a nice tackle, just basically at the line of scrimmage, and pushes a guy out of bounds. So I saw that play. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what he did at Alabama. Anytime that a guy did that, or wherever he went, he was kind of responsible for mirroring him and following him. So those are the traits. I think maybe they saw that trait, and that is now transferable to what his role will be this year for the Giants.
In the preseason game versus the Browns, they gave him some of the Logan Ryan responsibilities. We talked about him not changing Jabril Peppers' role. Do you think he changes Logan Ryan's role at all? Logan Ryan was a cornerback in the NFL. So do we maybe see a little more like, hey, we got McKinney high, and we're bringing Logan Ryan down low a little more often than we did last year?
Well, what do you mean role? Because also Logan Ryan's responsibility in the secondary, and this is a point that Carl Banks made, Xavier McKinney was like the play caller out in that secondary. So you have your linebacker, your interior linebacker, who's the play caller kind of up front, and the guy that's kind of guiding the ship up there. And then you have one of your safeties leading the back end as well. So is that what you're talking about, or just more or less free, strong, et cetera, et cetera? Because I would want Logan Ryan to continue calling
where they're
those plays.
aligned.
Where they're aligned. I don't know, Bobby. I mean, this is where it's just, this is such a good problem that the Giants have. Or I prefer seeing him as in the box versus as a free safety, but I have a feeling the Giants view it as the opposite.
Here's one thing I do know, is that after the first game, the first thing I'm looking for defensively is how did Patrick Graham use these four safeties when you include Julian Love. That's what I'm looking for. Because this may be the least informative PPP, because we don't know exactly what role he's going to be using. Yeah. So you got anything else on X?
No, and that's a good thing. I think the fact that we don't know a lot, and I like to think that we look at the Giants quite a lot. We talk about the Giants quite a lot. So I can also imagine not a lot of other teams know when they see Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers, Xavier McKinney all out on the field on the same time week one. And if Julian Love is out there too, hey, let's have a party. Where are these guys going to line up? Who's the slot corner? Who's the strong safety? Who's the free safety? Nobody really knows, especially if they're moving around like in this Amoeba formation before the snap too. So I'm glad that we don't know a lot, because it's a mystery, and I like mysteries sometimes.
I appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Until then, let's go Big Blue.